City man with an extensive criminal history is now charged with killing a deputy and his wife in a deadly crash near Springfield. And we've got the heat returning, heat index values climbing a bit, and that also means the return of pop-up storm chances. We'll look at your forecast coming up. And a Southwest Missouri mayor could be removed from office following allegations of workplace harassment.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Chris Warner. This is Third, and we are following breaking news this morning out of Lamar after a massive fire erupted at the former O'Sullivan facility. Multiple these have been called to that building at 1900 Gulf. The massive complex is on fire and the sounds of the roof caving in can be heard. The 1.5 million square foot building is one of the largest manufacturing facilities in Southwest Missouri. This is a developing story. We'll have more information as it comes. Turning back to our weather, we've got the possibility of those pop-up storms. Thankfully, not yet, but we will eventually have those chances. Live look downtown Pittsburgh, looking good. MoDOT camera, 20th in range line, is also looking good this morning. We still have some fog, once again, primarily at this point around the Grand Lake area. So if you are traveling down that way or into western McDonald County, just do keep that in mind this morning. And we're getting some into eastern Berry County at this point as well. So not as widespread. We seem to be getting less fog as each day passes. Future track by noon, we're going to start to go partly cloudy, and we start seeing those opportunities for isolated pop-up storms. Remember, you're not necessarily going to get them exactly where future track says, but we do have those chances. And the best window, as is traditional, is between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Could we get one outside of that range? Absolutely, but that's looking to be the best window for us today for those pop-up storms. 69 in Joplin right now, 68 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures across the region look like this. A little cooler to the east. Take a look. Monette, Cassville, both at 64 this morning. So we have low to mid 60s, and as you head further west, a bit warmer, starting to reach in to the low 70s. All of us heating up today. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, our temperatures are going to be near or maybe just a pinch above average. It's the return of the humidity that fuels these pop-up storms. That's where we're going to start to run into the uncomfortable conditions. So we're talking upper 70s by 9, mid 80s by noon, highs today, upper 80s, low 90s. Got those pop-up storm chances out there. Winds will be out of southwest at 5 to 10, but we're also looking at heat index values anywhere up to about 95 degrees today. And as our temperatures continue to climb, again, just a little bit over the next few days, and the humidity dew point levels continue to increase, we could start seeing some of those heat index values in the 95 to 100 degree range. So not excessive by any means, but certainly uncomfortable. You just want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. Now, our pop-up storm chances continue into the 4th. It's not looking like it's going to be a big washout or anything. We'll go over those details and take a look at the weekend forecast here in just a few minutes. Well, authorities charge a Webb City man with 2 counts of murder for a crash that killed a sheriff's deputy and his wife south of Springfield. The suspect is 40-year-old Garrett Cleaver of Webb City. He's suspected of being impaired when he smashed into a passenger van near Highlandville, Missouri, Monday night. Authorities say Cleaver was fleeing from a traffic stop when he crossed the center line and hit the other vehicle head on. The 2 people in the van were Christian County Deputy Sheriff Mike Adams, who was off duty at the time, and his wife, Ashley Adams. They both died at the scene. Their infant granddaughter was also injured. She was released from the hospital yesterday morning. Now, according to Christian County Sheriff Brad Cole, another deputy spotted Cleaver leaving a known drug house and tried to pull him over. He says Cleaver sped away and the deputy lost sight of him, later driving up on the accident scene. Jasper County has an arrest warrant for Cleaver for missing a court appearance, and he has an extensive criminal history in Missouri and Kansas that includes both assault and resisting arrest.
Mr. Cleaver, the suspect, has an extensive criminal history, and it is what I would consider a violent criminal history. It is 52 pages long. Within that 52 pages, there's numerous felonies, felony convictions, arrests, to include vehicular homicide in Kansas that he was convicted of and spent time in Kansas.
Sheriff Cole says once Cleaver is released from the hospital, he will be transported back to the Christian County Jail. Cleaver is now charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, fleeing a stop resulting in death, and other related crimes. An impeachment hearing is scheduled for the mayor of Carl Junction following a vote by the city's Board of Aldermen Tuesday night. The board voted to suspend Mike Moss as mayor last month, but legal counsel say it was an unlawful suspension. Following allegations of workplace harassment and an investigation, the Board of Aldermen is moving forward with articles of impeachment against Moss. A report of the investigation into the allegations against Moss has been released. Now, according to the report, the investigation found many violations of the city code. Now, 4 articles of impeachment have been brought against Moss. All present Board of Aldermen members at Tuesday night's meeting voted to move forward with holding an impeachment hearing. That hearing is tentatively scheduled for August the 4th. We have reached out to Moss for comment and have not heard back yet. You can learn more about the allegations and articles of impeachment on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news and weather and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you need to do is search for the KOAM News app. Well, Fort Scott Community College now has a new president, and yesterday the school opened its doors to introduce him. Dr. Jack Welch was born and raised in the Fort Scott area and says he's eager to be back. He comes from Texas A&M Commerce, where he served as a football coach. KOAM's Ty Parks attended the meet and greet and has more on Welch's plan for success.
Fort Scott Community College new president Jack Welch is excited to be back home.
I had a lot of relatives live here. My father-in-law was pastor here. I owned the family farm for many years, and so my relatives live here. It's been a home here, and to be quite frank with you, one of my top mentors was the president of the college here.
Bailey, who was on the selection committee, tells us what set him above the others.
I believe that what put him above the rest of them is that he was from here. So it's less of a stranger coming in and trying to change everything and more of someone coming home.
Welch is looking at the state of the campus right now.
First things that we'll do here is we'll have a sunset review. That's where you look at every program. You see who your champions, the champion programs. You'll see the group that's succeeding well, and you'll also see some ones that are not succeeding quite well. You've got to look at that information, look at your data. Why is it where we are at?
The new president also is addressing the elephant in the room, football.
First of all, I'll say this. I believe in football. I believe in baseball. I believe in softball. I believe in band. I believe in the choir. I understand how all that works for a college. So will we take a look at it? Sure, we're going to take a look at all draw programs, not just one. We're going to take a look at all draw programs and see how that would affect our college.
Dr. John Welch also has a message for the incoming students.
We're going to be okay. Everything's going to work. We're going to win. But we're going to win because we're going to help you. We're going to help our students from the onboarding all the way through. Advising. These are the things that hurt colleges right and left. Being friendly to them, helping them, taking them from one step to the other.
At Fort Scott Community College, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
President Welch says he plans to make Fort Scott Community College an elite Kansas institution. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, some Republican holdouts flip their votes as President Trump's budget and border bill moves forward. And we've got the muggy conditions returning, pop-up storm chances returning as well. We're going to have another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, the fate of the GOP's big budget and border bill now one step closer to being passed as a few Republican holdouts switched their votes early this morning. Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
The resolution is adopted.
A marathon procedural vote on the House floor finally closed after several Republicans switched from no votes early this morning. House Speaker Mike Johnson now optimistic the GOP's massive tax and spend bill could pass today.
We'll be voting, I think, by early morning.
Overnight, President Trump railed against the holdup on social media, posting, "For Republicans, this should be an easy yes vote. ridiculous, adding MAGA is not happy and it's costing you votes. The nearly 900-page bill will preserve the 2017 Trump tax cuts, provide tax relief on tips and overtime pay, and increase border and defense spending. But it also was estimated to add trillions to the deficit, a sticking point for fiscally conservative Republican holdouts. It also makes steep cuts to health and nutrition programs for low-income Americans like Medicaid and SNAP, an issue for some moderates in the GOP and for House Democrats.
Every single House Democrat will vote hell no against this one big, ugly bill.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says President Trump is making calls this morning after he already met with some GOP members at the White House yesterday, all in a mad dash to get the bill across the finish line by his July 4th deadline. Jared Hill, CBS News.
If the bill does ultimately make it through the House as is, it would go straight to President Trump's desk. But if the House makes changes, the bill would go back to the Senate for approval. Still to come, a new study reveals why there is a growing number of non-smokers developing lung cancer. Plus, we've got those pop-up storm chances, and we're going to start to see some slightly higher heat index values as well. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now 5:13. Well, outside a funeral in Detroit, a helicopter shows up and starts raining down rose petals and cash on friends and well-wishers. Family members say it was a high-flying final farewell from a local business owner known for his generosity. Jeremy Roth has more in today's Take a Look at This.
A recently deceased business owner in Detroit was honored in high-flying fashion with a surreal send-off that saw cold, hard cash rained down on well-wishers from above. The family of Daryl Thomas arranged the tribute for their late father, who owned a Detroit-area car wash and was reportedly well known for his generosity. As a helicopter hovered above a crowded block party honoring Thomas's memory, a sudden torrent of rose petals and money came floating down from the aircraft, sending attendants scurrying to collect the cascading cash. Thomas's family said it was his final way of giving back to the community. Detroit police say they were made aware of the rose petal plan, but not the money drop. They say they won't be investigating the incident, but the FAA will. In other surreal news from above, a weird annual Massachusetts tradition dating back decades returned in all its gloppy glory as gutsy guys and gals in Gloucester garnered goopy gamesmanship to grapple with a gargantuan pole greasy as all get out. Part of the annual St. Peter's Fiesta celebration, brave participants tried tirelessly to reach a flag at the end of a 45-foot telephone pole slathered in bacon fat, fish guts, eggs, and banana peels. Many tried, but most would slide with an epic fail and an epic fall. But one slick competitor did make it to the end, grabbing the flag to seal the win, and as such, received a hero's parade, hoisted and heralded around town in a celebration of a trippy New England tradition that's equally wicked weird and wicked had. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We're talking about a fun couple of weeks here for folks. You get to go out on a slippery telephone pole over the water. So hopefully you can swim if you're going to participate in that. But I think what we need to do now is take the show outside and see if maybe there's a helicopter raining down money. That would certainly be a nice surprise. Probably not, though. Well, we've got another hot day out there, but we're going to start to get muggy as well. And, of course, that'll set the stage for some of those pop-up storm chances as we head through today and into next week. We're going to have a full look at your forecast, break down those pop-up storm chances, and the weekend when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:21 on this Thursday morning. Of course, today is the 3rd, tomorrow is the 4th. And if you've got plans, like we've talked about, you don't want to cancel them, but you do want to keep an eye to the sky. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But first, fog tracker back out again as we've got fog, especially around the Grand Lake area. Of course, that stretches up into parts of Ottawa County and it reaches into western McDonald County. And then we've got some additional fog reaching into eastern Barry County. So not that much, but still, low beams, not your high beams, and do watch out for the potential for rapidly changing visibility conditions. All right, heading into the afternoon, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures, as I mentioned earlier, there. We're not going to be excessively above normal by any means with our high temperatures, but the humidity and the dew point levels are going to start to increase a bit. That's the fuel for those pop-up storms, and it's going to make it feel a little uncomfortable out there. We'll have a southwesterly breeze eventually for us through most of today. Between 2 and 6 is our best window for pop-up storms. Could we get one or two outside on either side of that? Absolutely, but we will have a better opportunity between 2 and 6. These storms, again, will be isolated. Most of us will remain dry, and then they'll fizzle out once we lose the heating of the day. We'll have clear skies overnight and into the start of the day tomorrow, and then we will go back to partly cloudy. Future Track, it did this for Thursday. Now it's moved it to Friday, so we'll see what happens exactly. But could get a couple of showers earlier in the morning, but otherwise, once again, we hit into the afternoon. That's when we're looking at the best opportunity for some of those pop-up storms. Now, tomorrow's pop-up storm chances look to be slightly better than what they are today. So again, not everywhere all at once by any means, not a washout. But I know a lot of folks, you probably start your 4th of July celebrations pretty early. Just make sure, the first thing you need to remember, of course, is when thunder roars, head indoors. You don't want to be struck by lightning. You don't want to be caught out in one of these things, especially if you're heading to a lake or the creek, river, whatever the case may be. But additionally, you don't want your fireworks, your food, or your friends and family getting soaked. And the good news is, again, with pop-up storms, they don't last very long. They'll move out. And as we lose the heating of the day tomorrow, could have a few trying to linger a little later into the evening, but shouldn't have a significant impact on fireworks shows tomorrow night, whether you're going to one held by an organization or maybe you're just hosting your own fireworks show. Shouldn't be a big issue, but you still want to keep an eye to the sky and listen for that thunder for sure. By Saturday, by the time we get into the afternoon, once again, we get into that pop-up storm situation out there, a few isolated ones. So like I said, too, not a lot of widespread rain, but those chances are there. Temperatures will continue to stay pretty toasty as we roll into Friday as well, going back into the upper 80s and low 90s. And as I mentioned, we're only 3, maybe upwards of 5 degrees above average, and that's a big maybe. It's the heat index value, so the humidity, dew point levels will start rising. And so starting today and into the weekend, today's heat index values look to reach about the mid-90s. Could start feeling like the upper 90s tomorrow and into the upcoming weekend. All right, so a few clouds to start, which you can see from 7th and Rangeline, not many out there. We'll be in low 70s by 8, low 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, again, pushing upper 80s, low 90s. And upper 80s and low 90s are really going to be the trend for the next several days across the area. But you can also see those pop-up storm chances also the trend for the next several days, which means it's going to also feel a bit muggy for the next several days. That's checking your forecast. Switching gears into Health Watch this morning. Why are a growing number of non-smokers developing lung cancer? Well, a study by UC San Diego shows air pollution and environmental exposure are the main reasons to blame. That pollution can come from vehicles, industrial emissions, or wildfires. The study also found that even some traditional herbal medicines are causing lung cancer in non-smokers. The COVID pandemic disrupted not only millions of lives, but also health care for other types of diseases. According to a study published in the British Medical Journal, mental health disorders, stroke and heart disease, and malaria in young children all shot up during the COVID pandemic. The study shows how treatment for other illnesses can be neglected during a major health crisis such as a pandemic. And women get better at managing their anger as they age. A study published by the Menopause Society found once women reach midlife, fewer and fewer report experiencing anger issues. The results suggest that women are able to better regulate their emotions during and after menopause. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, Baxter Springs breaks ground on a much-needed animal shelter. Now we've got a beautiful sunrise out there again this morning. Few clouds to start the day, pop-up storms later, and it's going to get a little muggy. Details in your forecast coming up. And the city of Joplin gets ready to celebrate Independence Day on the campus of Missouri Southern.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:29 now on this Thursday, July the 3rd. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic time and hopefully you are ready to safely celebrate the 4th of July because it's coming up. It's tomorrow, and it's going to be time to celebrate before you know it. We're going to start, well, I'll show you that. We're all good here. Take a look. Beautiful sunrise, not mutable sunrise, but a beautiful sunrise from 7th and Range Line. Also, from our camera, downtown Pittsburgh. I'm telling you, here lately, even though it's been warming up and everything, we have had some absolutely gorgeous starts to the day across the area. And of course, just another fantastic view. I mean, it's like the perfect sprinkling of clouds. And even in the afternoon, like the drive home, yeah, okay, it's hot in the car. But driving back from here, going through some of the farmland here in southeast Kansas, you get the corn, you get the clouds overhead, the blue skies, and it's just some of the most beautiful and serene imagery out there. So if you ever need to just take a little mental break or just get away, just drive out to the middle of nowhere and enjoy the scenery, because it's very nice around here. We got some beautiful sights. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. If you're a city person and you enjoy the sights and sounds of the city, well, then all you need to do is find a good parking spot somewhere off on Range Line and just watch that go by and count how many cars there are out there. Do have, again, some patchy fog this morning as we get down toward the Grand Lake area and back into eastern Berry County as well. So, again, low beams, not your high beams, and do watch out for that potential for rapidly changing visibilities. All right, on to the future track. By this afternoon, we start to go partly cloudy. I have a southwest breeze at about 5 to 10, and we'll start to see the window for those random pop-up storms. So again, with future track and pop-up storms, by 4 o'clock, will there be a storm right over Joplin? Maybe, maybe not. Pop-up storms are hard for future track to map out because they are truly random. They'll show up wherever they feel like. But when future track shows them, it's at least letting us know that there's that possibility. The best window is going to be between 2 and 6 today. Could we get 1 or 2 ahead of that or slightly after that? Sure, we certainly could, but the better window is between 2 and 6 as we head through our Thursday. Temperatures, 69 in Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh, so pretty close to average, but some of our eastern counties, a wee bit cooler. Take a look. Monette, Cassville, both at 64, not too bad. Chanute, Yates Center, a little warmer out there at 71, but most of us, upper 60s to right about 70 to start our day. Low 70s eventually, then upper 70s by 9. Clouds begin to increase through the morning and not partly cloudy skies. Mid 80s by noon, upper 80s, low 90s for our highs. So again, excuse me, our high temperatures will only be maybe a couple of degrees above normal, but we're getting the humidity to rise, dew points are rising. So today, at least, we could have heat index values into the mid 90s. Just make sure you're staying hydrated, being smart out there over the next few days. We have more pop-up storm chances tomorrow. We'll take a look at that, plus the upcoming weekend forecast here in just a few minutes. In the news this morning, the city of Baxter Springs breaks ground on a much-needed animal shelter yesterday afternoon. The facility will be called the Ronald O. Thomas Animal Adoption Center. Organizers say that an influx of stray animals since the COVID-19 pandemic left them with no choice but to rebuild. They also say thanks to 3 local donors, the new building will be completely funded.
There was a definite need. Our current facility only houses about 4 dogs, and this is going to multiply that probably 10 times over. So there are 10 runs for large dogs, 14 runs for puppies, and there will be cat facilities too in the neighborhood of 10 to 20 cats.
Right now, there is no set date when the facility will be complete. The city of Chanute announces a proud moment on social media yesterday. For the first time in the history of the Chanute Police Department, an all-female shift took to the streets to serve and protect the community. The department says these officers are paving the way for future generations by showing them there is no limit to what young women can accomplish. Proud officers from left to right are Supervisor O'Neill's, Officer Cavender, and K-9 Handler Goodwin. A proud city thanks you for your service. And an annual tradition blasted off last night at Crawford State Park. Visitors came out to the annual Lake Blast for some family fun ahead of the holiday. Party started yesterday evening with food, face painting, and live music from the Bourbon County Revival Band. Every year, the Friends of Crawford State Park host the pre-4th of July party. They say volunteers make all the difference when setting up an event this size.
We have so many great volunteers with our friends group. They make it easy. It's just a lot of phone calls and picking up supplies at various stores and making sure they're all here the day of that we need it. But everybody pitches in, it makes it easy.
And of course, the perfect way to end the evening was with a fireworks show. And if you're looking for a safe and fun way to celebrate the nation's independence this year, the city of Joplin has you covered. Missouri Southern will partner with Joplin Parks and Recreation this Friday for a celebration at MSSU's Hughes Stadium. Organizers say there will be lots of live music, food trucks, and of course, fireworks.
Parks and Recreation has hosted the 4th of July celebration for a number of years, and the community just always enjoys it. It's been a great time. I've been out there, and people are celebrating. They're doing it safely, and you know, surprisingly, parking is very easy, and getting out is very easy. It's well-controlled crowd environment.
The event kicks off at 5:30 tomorrow evening. Organizers say personal fireworks, pets, and alcohol are prohibited. And if your 4th of July plans have you staying in the area, but you're looking for something to do, don't worry, we've got you covered. All you have to do is get your smartphone out, scan this QR code, and then head over to KOAMNewsNow.com, and you can check out a list of Independence Day events right here in our area. And you can find great food, great live music, family fun, and of course, plenty of fireworks shows. Well, yesterday morning, the Great American Flag Swap made a stop in Joplin ahead of the 4th of July holiday. The event was held at Arvest Bank on East 32nd Street and gave folks the opportunity to trade in their old tattered flags for a new one.
Today is about respect and dignity, and it's a unifying event for our community.
All flags receive proper retiring. The next flag swap will be on November 6th at Arvest Bank in Pittsburgh. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, Microsoft has announced that it's set to start another round of layoffs, slashing another 4% of its workforce. Plus, some major retailers are going head-to-head with Amazon with some amazing deals. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, time now 5:36. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, if you're in the market to buy a home, you may have noticed many conventional loans require a 20% down payment. But there are other options that allow you to put down as little as 3.5%. Jen Sullivan looks at these other options that can help make home buying more affordable.
Home sale prices have skyrocketed in recent years. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median price of existing home sales in May was more than $422,000. And if you're buying a home at that price and putting down 20%, that means you need more than $84,000 in cash. And it means buyers won't have to pay for private mortgage insurance.
It's completely out of reach for many Americans to think about putting 20% down for a mortgage.
Well, 20% has long been the magic number for down payments. Jessica Loutz with the National Association of Realtors says that's changed over the last 5 years, and more first-time buyers are putting down around 9%. Here's how. Federal Housing Administration loans, known as an FHA, is a government-backed loan for qualifying buyers. Your down payment can be as low as 3.5%.
There is a credit score requirement, but it is in the 500s.
There are some downsides to that. Your offer could be less competitive, and it means your debt and monthly payment will be higher because you're putting down less money.
The expectation is that home prices will continue to increase, so that debt to income ratio is actually going to work out in your favor over time.
If you're a veteran or active military member, consider a VA loan. Lout says in some cases, you don't need to put any cash down.
Also, looking at state and local programs, the down payment resource is a great place to go to see what you may qualify for on a local level.
Loutz also recommends shopping around to get the best mortgage interest rate, and make sure you're still budgeting for closing costs that can add up quickly. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, the Kraft Heinz Foods Company is recalling more than 360,000 pounds of Oscar Mayer turkey bacon due to a possible listeria contamination. According to the Department of Agriculture, the bacteria was found during laboratory tests. So far, there have been no reports of illness. Anyone who has the recalled turkey bacon should throw it away or return to the place of purchase for a refund. Microsoft is slashing another 4% of its workforce, with job cuts impacting around 9,000 employees. Comes as new labor data shows that layoffs in the U.S. this year have hit their highest level since the COVID-19 pandemic. According to outplacement firm Challenger Gray Christmas, companies have announced more than 744,000 job cuts in the first half of 2025. Sectors hit the hardest include the federal government, retail, media, tech, and nonprofits. And Dick's Sporting Goods is the latest retailer to announce a rival sale to take on Amazon's Prime Day next week. The yearly Amazon sales event is set for July 8th through the 11th. Well, Dick's is getting a head start with its sale running July 7th through July 10th. Walmart and Target have also announced rival sales next week. That's it for Consumer Watch. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We are watching a muggy day and maybe an opportunity for some pop-up storms as we head into the afternoon. We're going to have another full look at your forecast and, of course, the holiday information you need right after this. Welcome back. A longtime and well-known food company has filed for bankruptcy protection. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Michelle Rook with today's Ag Day Minute. We continue to follow trade negotiations between the U.S. and a host of countries. President Trump announcing a trade deal with Vietnam. The president announcing the agreement on his Truth Social site, saying Vietnam will pay the U.S. a 20% tariff on any goods sent to the U.S. and a 40% tariff on any goods that originate in another country and then are transferred to Vietnam before coming to the U.S. In return, he says Vietnam will give the U.S. what he calls total access to their markets for trade, adding the U.S. will be able to sell its products into Vietnam at zero tariff. 139-year-old Del Monte Foods has announced it's filing for bankruptcy protection. The California company is best known for its canned fruits and vegetables, which have seen sales slide recently. Del Monte is saying in a statement the bankruptcy filing is part of a planned sale of the company's assets. And Walmart has opened its first ever owned and operated case-ready beef facility. It's located in Olathe, Kansas. The beef is sourced from Sustainable Beef in North Platte, Nebraska. The newly opened 300,000 plus square foot facility will package and distribute Angus cut sourced directly to stores across the Midwest. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or get updates at agweb.com.
And we've got an update on your forecast as we are also again dealing with some patchy fog out there. We do have slightly reduced visibilities around the Iola area. Again, a couple of days ago, Iola, you dropped to zero visibility 2 or 3 different times in the morning. Got some patchy fog around the Grand Lake area. So Grove, Delaware County, parts of Ottawa and western McDonald County, and some fog sneaking in into the portions of eastern Barrie County. So again, remember, low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you have them, that's what they're for. Not for driving, you're just using them on a normal day because that doesn't help anything. But they are for the fog. That's why they're called fog lights. And of course, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going out there. All right. So pop-up storm chances. That means one thing that is not a fun thing. It's not going to be a terrible thing, but it's not a fun thing. Pop-up storms feed off a few things. Heating of the day. They need some instability. Instability comes from an increase in humidity and dew point levels. And so that means it's going to feel a bit muggier out there. So thankfully, not excessive heat, which is good, but it is still going to feel a bit hotter. As we roll into this afternoon, isolated pop-up storm chances. And again, is there going to be a storm in Joplin right there at 3 o'clock today? Maybe, maybe not. Future Track takes the information by just putting these green splotches up there. It's telling us pop-up storms are likely. As for exactly where, they are completely random, but it just gives us that idea that we could see a few here and there as we head into the afternoon. Best window today is going to be between about 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Could we get a couple ahead of that or after that? We sure could, but the best window is going to be there. We'll have clear skies overnight, then clouds return tomorrow morning, start going partly cloudy. Future Track hitting at maybe a couple of showers in our western counties, and then as we head into the afternoon again for the 4th, some additional pop-up storms. Now, we may get a couple more of those pop-up storms than what we see today, but again, it's going to be one of those things too. Once we lose the heating of the day, we'll lose the majority of the pop-up storms. Could a couple last a little later? They certainly could. Will they be exactly where Future Track says? Not necessarily. So again, remember the main thing here is when thunder roars, head indoors. You don't want to be caught out with these because there's still thunderstorms. There still could be lightning, and the lightning is dangerous, but they're also pretty short-lived. And just make sure you got a dry space for the fireworks just in case. And as we head into our Saturday, it's going to be muggy again. We're going to have another opportunity for pop-up showers and thunderstorms across the area as we roll through Saturday afternoon. So again, just one of those things, if you're heading out for the weekend, or even if you're heading out maybe today, just play it safe, keep an eye on the sky, and don't mess around. If you hear the thunder, get inside, wait till it passes, and you can go back out. Temperatures today and tomorrow heating up, as I mentioned, upper 80s going into the low 90s. So our highs over the next at least 2 or 3 days really aren't going to be that much above normal. We're talking maybe a couple of degrees. But with the increase in humidity and dew point, we're looking at heat index values today into the mid 90s. And as we head through the weekend into next week, we'll start to see those heat index values into the upper 90s, getting close to 100 here and there, so make sure you're staying hydrated. Just a few clouds out there like we're seeing right now, but eventually going partly cloudy. Low 70s by 8 o'clock this morning, low 80s by 11. Highs today, again, upper 80s, low 90s, and that will be the trend for the next several days. And of course, the muggy conditions will also be the trend for the next several days, so we're going to have pop-up storm chances for the next several days. Let's check your forecast. Switching gears now into sports this morning. The Joplin Outlaws are red hot now for a majority of the season. They've been in a 3-horse race for first place in the Mid-America League alongside Abilene and Sherman. But Joplin is starting to distance itself with a 6-game winning streak. Second 3-game set between the Outlaws and Shadowcats. On a beautiful night for baseball, Angus, the Outlaw, makes his first appearance of the 2025 season. Top of the first inning, Sherman threatening with runners on first and second. This ground ball nearly gets to the outfield. Blake Wilson slows it down at short and then quickly fires home in time to get the out at the plate. Nice play to keep us scoreless. We fast forward to the bottom of the fourth. Outlaws up 1-0. Carson Hilton doubles that lead. His RBI single makes it 2-0 Joplin. And that'd be a sign of things to come later in the inning. Wilson sends one into the gap in left center. And that scores another run. And he hustles into second safely, heads up base running, puts him in scoring position. Then Ravon Morgan laces this pitch into right field. Wilson turns on the Jets, and he is safe at home. Outlaws score 3 in the fourth, and they win their 7th in a row. Final score, 7-1. In Major League Baseball, the Cardinals have been shut out by the Pirates 2 nights in a row. In the final game of the series yesterday afternoon, St. Louis hopes not only to avoid a sweep, but simply score some runs. Bottom of the second inning, no score until this base hit from Tommy Pham in the left field, and just like that, the Pirates score the first run of the game. Next half inning, Mitch Keller, the starting pitcher for Pittsburgh. He gets Mason Wynn to look at strike 3, and that makes him the all-time record holder for strikeouts at PNC Park. Later in the third, runners on the corners. Thomas Sujasi hits a bouncer between short and third, and he's out by a half a step at first base to end the inning. So when you're in a slump, it just feels like plays like these never go your way. To the bottom of the seventh, Pham delivers his second RBI single of the day. The former Cardinal coming back to haunt the Redbirds. That sparks a rally. 2 batters later, Isaiah Kenner Falefa shoots one into center. 2 more runs scored. Next batter, Spencer Horwitz pulls into right. Another run crosses the plate. Cardinals just gonna have to shake this series off. They not only get swept, but they don't score a single run in all 3 games. Final score on that one, 5-0. That's a look at your morning sports headlines. Time now 5:53. We'll be right back. Zoo in the UK, the zoo welcoming some Humboldt penguins this week. The penguins are said to be highly endangered, one of the most at risk out of the world's 17 species of penguins. The 8 chicks began hatching from the middle to end of April and spent their first few weeks of life in their nest burrows with their parents. They are all named after constellations and celestial wonders with names like Cassiopeia and Xena. They are sure to be the stars of their new home. And a penguin takes a break from the heat by swimming with beachgoers in Brazil. On Sunday, a Magellanic penguin was seen in the waters off Rio de Janeiro's Praia do Aprodor. I did not say that right at all. Magellanic penguins are native to Patagonia and typically migrate during the winter in search of food. Nature experts think the penguin likely fell off its usual migratory route because of potential strong sea currents, prey shortages, or navigational errors. Now, see, even penguins can make a few mistakes while they're driving, and so it's okay if you get lost. It's not okay, though, if your Google Maps puts your vehicle into a field, or way back when, I remember there was Yahoo Maps. If you Google directions from like New York City to Paris, France, it gave you streets and all that, and then it told you literally to swim across the Atlantic Ocean for X amount, 1,000 miles. I'm not kidding. It doesn't do that now, but it really did. All right, a few clouds out there to start, and then starting to go partly cloudy. Low 70s by 8 o'clock this morning, low 80s by 11. Our highs, upper 80s, low 90s, so not far from normal, but heat index values today pushing into the mid-90s. Isolated pop-up storms, best windows between 2 and 6. They will start to clear out overnight, mild, back down to about 70. Pop-up storms again tomorrow, so don't cancel your plans. Just remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. Pop-up storms, though, continue through most of next week, and so does the heat. Upper 80s, low 90s, heat index values mid to upper 90s. Let's check your forecast. Another hour of the KOAM Morning News is right after this.